Hi everyone! Thank you for coming to join me on your mat today for this yin practice focused on the feet. Let's begin in child's pose with the knees wide, and try doing your child's pose today with the toes turned under. If that's really uncomfortable for you, go ahead and put the tops of your feet down into the mat, whichever way feels better. Sinking the hips towards the heels, reaching your fingertips forward. Spend this first few moments of the practice clearing the mind, focusing on the breath, feeling the lightness on the inhale, the air moving across the back body. The exhale, the hips sink further down into the mat. I designed this practice focusing on the feet because I find that this time of year in spring we're changing our activities. We're changing the kinds of footwear that we are wearing, moving from a structured kind of footwear, maybe a ski boot or a skate, or even our walking footwear, boots with a lot of support around the ankles, a lot of traction on the soles. We're moving to something lighter, depending on what our activities are, a running shoe or even a sandal. And the feet can really pay the price. So giving the feet a little bit of tender, loving care can make all the difference in how you feel. Because when your feet hurt, everything sucks. These poses, I've tried to incorporate them into hip openers, shoulder openers, and you can incorporate them into your practice anytime you like, or do one or two of them that you enjoy or that feels good for your feet. I like to do it first thing in the morning before I even get out of bed. I like to open up the tendons, the ligaments in my feet, break the tension in the bottom of my feet that might have built up overnight. I find that first thing in the morning, your feet are pressed into service from the very first moment that you wake up and swing your feet over the bed and put the full weight of your body down onto your feet, even while you might still be rubbing the sleep out of your eyes and the rest of your body waking up. Your feet are fully in action. So giving them a little bit of attention first thing when you sit up before you stand, it can be a good thing. And some of these poses or exercises you might find helpful in that. Moving now into a downward dog pose. Not traditionally a yin pose, but a really great way to break that tension in the bottom of the feet. You can pedal out your feet, stretching the bottoms of the feet right up through the backs of the ankle, the calves. Moving whatever way feels good for you. Stretching both heels down to the back of the mat now. Maybe they reach the mat, maybe they don't. What's important is that you're feeling a nice stretch here. Coming up high on your toes, gaze forward between the thumbs, and slowly drop your knees down onto the mat. Walk your hands in next to your knees. And bring your hips over your heels with the toes turned under so that you're sitting on your heels with the toes turned under. Fingertips can come up. Take the right elbow with the left hand and get a nice tricep stretch going on there. The left hand can Swing up and around, or leave that hand on the elbow. Getting a nice tricep stretch, pressing the back of your head into the right tricep. If your hands don't reach here, you can keep the left hand on the elbow, helping that stretch, or hold on to your shirt. Whatever feels good. Takes your mind off the toes. If this is really hard on your toes here, you can come up, bring the hips over the knees, take some of the weight off your heels. You can go up and down with that, as feels good for you. We won't be here for too much longer, so breathe easy. And reaching both the fingertips high, bring the hands down onto your mat, come back to tabletop, uncurl the toes and just tap the tops of your feet onto the mat. This should feel really good. And while we're here, let's do a couple of cat-cows, dropping the belly, bringing the crown of the head high. On the exhale, round the spine, drop the crown of the head. Inhale, lengthen the front of the body. Exhale, squeeze it in. Find some space between the floor and your navel. A couple more times in each direction. And then coming to tabletop, walk your fingers back in towards the knees, this time bringing the hips down over the heels with the tops of your feet pressed into the mat. This is opening up the muscles in the fronts of the ankles. Stretching the tricep on the left side, you can bring your right hand to your left elbow or swing that hand down and around. Try and meet your fingertips behind your back. Turn the tailbone down here and really keep your weight over your heels, your shoulders over the hips. And breathe easy here. Releasing the bind. You can bring the fingertips back up. Bring the hands down to the mat, back to tabletop. One more round of cat-cow here, just to elongate the spine. Realign the spine. You can cross your ankles, roll over your feet, come to a seated position. You can make your way to your seated position any way you like. Bring the soles of your feet together now. Let the knees fall open for butterfly pose. And here I'm going to describe what I call zipper feet. And it's basically pushing your toes together, interlacing your toes like you might interlace your fingers, pushing your toes in between each other all the way down, right down to your pinky toes. And it can take a second to make that happen. And if you're me, they keep snapping out on you. And so I hold them with my hands together once I get them in place. And then hinge forward from the hips. Getting a nice opening on the inside of the thighs, bringing the heels into the body to whatever place feels comfortable. Maybe you can use your elbows on your knees to open this stretch a little bit more in the hips. Let the weight of your head go, opening up the muscles in the back of the neck. And focus on your breath. This is the first practice I've been able to do outside in my backyard. I'm happy to be able to share it with you. So stretching the feet out long now in front of you. Pull your big toes back towards your body as you push your four smaller toes away from you. And then switch that. Point the big toes away from you and pull your smaller toes, the four smaller toes, in towards your body. And just keep switching them, moving them back and forth and back and forth. This builds strength in the muscles in the feet. Increases your control of your feet. It will help with balancing. Bring your left knee up towards the sky and then bring that foot around to the outside of your right knee. Right elbow wraps around the left knee, and let's do a simple seated twist while we're here. Nice breathing easy. Trying to keep both sits bones planted evenly into the mat. Sole of the left foot is planted right into the mat. Now coming back to center, we'll come into a seated figure four. The left knee falls open. You can keep your right leg extended or bend the knee, bringing the bent left shin closer to the body. Interlace your fingers between each toe now and extend the toes. Bring the toes back towards your shin. Make some ankle circles in one direction and then the other. You can really hear that wind now. Then when you're done that, give a nice squeeze on your fingers, really making a fist and squeezing the fingers together. This can feel kind of intense. And release those fingers from the toes. Support yourself as you extend the right leg, extend the left leg. Taking the twist on the other side, bring your right foot to the outside of the left leg and twisting to the right. Left elbow wraps around the right knee. Right hand comes behind. Really trying to originate this twist right from the pelvis, turning the spine all the way up, right through the cervical spine. Nice easy breathing here. Coming back to center. Let the right knee fall open. Can adjust the strength of this stretch by drawing your adjusting how far you bring your left knee in and how close you bring your chest to that bent right shin or the bent right leg. Interlace your left fingertips into the right toes. Make some ankle circles here. And one way and then the other. Back and forth with the toes. And give a good squeeze. This can feel really intense, really opening up the ligaments and tendons in between each toe. And you'll feel that right up through the foot, depending on how tense your feet are. Releasing that now, we're going to come to a log cabin pose. So bringing the left shin parallel to the front of your mat, stack the right ankle over the left knee, the right knee over the left ankle. If this is uncomfortable for you, take the bottom leg, the left leg, out of the situation and just rest your right ankle on a block or a pillow and spend a few moments here massaging the foot, pulling and twisting each toe in turn. Giving a rub to the bottom of your foot, opening up finding any remaining areas of tension. Opening up that foot manually with your hands. When you're done that, you can hinge forward from the hips. Let the weight of your upper body carry you into a nice deep fold. Breathe easy here. Coming back up, bringing the shoulders over the hips. We'll do the other side. So right leg is on the bottom, left ankle over the right knee, left knee over the right ankle. Or as I say, take the right leg out of the situation, put it wherever is comfortable, and rest the left ankle onto a pillow or a block. Massage the foot. Find any remaining areas of tension. Take each toe in turn. Give it a little pull and a twist. Some final relaxation and TLC for that foot. And when you're done that, you can hinge forward. Open up the hips a little further. And relax. Let the breath carry you deeper into this pose. Bring the shoulders up over the hips. Use your hands to help your legs release from this pose. And then lower your back all the way down onto the mat for Savasana. Extending the feet down towards the bottom of the mat, resting your hands next to your hips. Thanks for joining me for this short practice. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me to continue making these practices for you. Enjoy Savasana for as long as feels good for you. Namaste.